Welcome to NBA Weekly with your host, DTLF.
What up, fam? It's your boy DTLF back with another NBA Weekly episode, man. Just wanted to do a quick one this week, and especially for today. We had a very crazy evening tonight. Obviously, we had the draft lottery today. We're going to talk about that. The Knicks, shout out to the Knicks for doing the Lord's work and taking care of business and going up 3-1 on the Boston Celtics in that series, baby. Shout out to the Knicks. Seriously. Definitely made our night better after what was a very, dare I say, rigorous draft lottery. Prayers up to Jason Tatum, okay? Because even though we hate Boston, you never want to see an injury like that. That was unfortunate. There's a lot of speculation what that could or could not be. I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but man, like that looked bad. No non-contact injury. You hate to see it. So prayers up for him. But credit to the Knicks. The Knicks won that game even before that injury happened. Okay. I thought there was a lot of, and we're going to get into the draft lottery, and I will try to convince you guys to how it's rigged. I think I have the final proof of evidence. I've been on to them for years, guys. I've been telling you guys, but yeah, the Knicks were able to overcome a deficit. Again, they fell behind 39-28 in the first quarter and battled all the way back. Shout out to New York behind a 37-point quarter, and were tremendous, man. 42 points for Jason Tatum. He was going off, but it wasn't enough for them. Mikal Bridges was huge again. 23.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, and a block. Basically earning every single penny, yo. He's proven that he was worth every single draft pick that was included in that package. OG Anunoby, 20 points. Okay, was tremendous. Really tremendous. Hit a big dagger 3 towards the end in the fourth quarter there. 23 for Karl Towns with 11 rebounds and a block, battling through injuries himself. But nobody was more spectacular than Jalen Brunson, who continues to be the clutchest player in the NBA. 39 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and he just completely took over in that fourth quarter. That was exceptional, man. Very, very proud of the New York Knicks. They continue to do the Lord's work, man. So shout out to them. I think they have a chance to go all the way they're playing right now. Granted, they still have to stay healthy. They've already battled through injuries and stuff. But tonight, he went 9 deep as far as the rotations go. He played Precious, Mitchell Robinson, Cameron Payne, and Miles McBride, a.k.a. Deuce McBride off the bench. So I like the fact that Thibs is expanding that rotation. On the other side of the spectrum, you got the Timberwolves beating the Golden State Warriors 117-110. And again, very, very, that is a lopsided series. 3-1. They go up 3-1 in the series. Warriors really ain't anything without Curry. We know that. Julius Randle, 31 points, 3 assists, a steal, a block. Tremendous again. 30 points for Anthony Edwards. That's been their big two right there. And I told you guys after the trade happened, people were discounting the Wolves. I said, don't be so quick to discount the Wolves. How crazy would it be if we get a Wolves versus Knicks finals? The two teams that made the trade get to the finals. That would be insane. Now, I'm not predicting that'll happen. I still think the Thunder have a great chance of coming out of the West, even though they're down 2-1 to the Nuggets right now. But, man, Brunson has been very clutch. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch and all of that. And on the other side, the Timberwolves have been very scrappy, and credit to them. Yeah, I hate the fact that they beat us. But, again, I told you guys before the playoffs started, they were one of the most dangerous teams in the West. I said the same thing about the Knicks. They're the dark horse in the East. And so far, so good. Danspiration strikes again. I wish I was wrong, because if I would have been wrong, the Lakers would have been in the second round, not the Timberwolves. But, yeah, I mean, Curry, let me tell you something. His window, in my opinion, is starting to close up right before our eyes. Not just because of this injury, but because they're going to get worse next season, right? They're going to get more expensive with that Jimmy Butler contract extension kicks in. They're going to have less flexibility. And if they're already struggling like this with injuries to Curry, which I mentioned, the lack of depth would be exposed. If Curry was out, they'd be done. That's exactly what's happening right now. Now, there is a bittersweetness to this. I am happy Boston is getting eliminated currently, right? Hopefully they could complete that process. The Knicks do. And I am very happy that the Warriors are also getting eliminated. However, I don't know about you guys, but I feel a little disappointed that in the fashion in which they're getting eliminated, with both of their stars now being hurt, is going to be crazy. Now, the Knicks have earned their 3 wins. The Timberwolves have not. They have taken advantage of the Curry injury simply. And, credit to them because they're doing what they had to do. But it's not as exciting, than to see the players we dislike be healthy and get eliminated. All right, now let's get to the topic of conversation. Guys, we're going to play a game. And my job here is going to be to convince you guys that the draft lottery is rigged. And I will give you guys examples. And you guys can tell me if that doesn't convince you, just say more in the chat. If it convinces you, just drop it. Just hit the like button and hit this emoji right here if it convinces you, okay? So I did my research before I went live on here. How you doing, Mooley? Good to see you, man. The Knicks were your second favorite team for you from years. Yeah, I'm happy for the Knicks. I'd be a lot happier if my first favorite team was, advancing here. But I'm very happy for the Knicks and their fans. And yes, the Knicks have been my second favorite team just because of the passion. You see how exciting it is to watch them ball out at Madison Square Garden. So, all right, time for me to convince you guys. I'm gonna do my best version. I'm gonna play lawyer here, NBA lawyer, and I'm gonna start. I'm not even gonna go that far back. I'm gonna go 25 years back. All right, we can go into the Patrick Ewing frozen envelope and all that, but everybody knows about that. At least most people do. All right, let's start with the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James in 2010 and 2011. Okay, LeBron James. Everybody knew he was going to be a phenom. Everybody knew he was going to be a phenom. Again, they get the first overall pick. I'm sorry, not in 2010, in 2007. No, 2003, sorry. They get the first overall pick. The irony. A kid from Akron, Ohio, sent to Cleveland. That is case number one for Cleveland. I don't remember what the odds were so long ago, but that's my case number one. Yeah, hometown kid saves Cleveland. Okay, the storybook writing, you couldn't even write it in Hollywood script. Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. In 2010 and 2011, LeBron James leaves Cleveland Cavaliers as a free agent in July 2010 to join the Miami Heat. Right? What happens? What happens that next draft in 2011? The Cavaliers won the lottery with a 2.8 chance via the Clippers pick. They had the 8th best odds, and they select Kyrie Irving with the first overall pick. That pick will later on help entice bring LeBron James back to Cleveland and eventually win their first and only title till date. So that is Exhibit A. All right, let me know if you guys want more. I got a lot more. Okay, but I just want to let you guys know it is very rigged. And let's see if you guys notice the same pattern that I notice here. But that is very sketchy, right? I've noticed that most of the time when big superstars leave empty voids in cities, they get replenished by other generational talents that are up and coming. Everybody knows Cooper Flag is a big piece. Hence what happened tonight, right? So I'm going to keep going. Just say more if you want me to convince you more. All right? Now we're going to go to the next year after that. New Orleans Hornets, a.k.a. the Pelicans and Chris Paul. Right? The NBA vetoes the trade that was sent Chris Paul to the Lakers. And instead, they trade superstar Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Clippers in a failed attempt to send him to the Lakers. What happens the very upcoming summer in 2012? The Hornets won the lottery with a 13.7 chance, so a little more convincible. Those were the second best odds. And they select Anthony Davis with that first overall pick, a clear-cut beast out of Kentucky. All right, and so that one is not super, super compelling, right, to say the least. But nonetheless, again, another star that gets flipped after, they make a trade. Or should I say another star that gets traded and then, boom, they win the lottery. It's just so weird. It's so weird, man. Okay, not convinced yet. You guys want more? The very same team. We don't have to go very far. The New Orleans Pelicans in 2019. The Lakers trade for superstar Anthony Davis, right? Now the Lakers give up Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, multiple draft picks, including the 4th overall pick. What happens that summer in 2019 draft? The Pelicans won the lottery with a 6% chance. Those were the 7th best odds. And they select Zion Williamson, who was clearly highly touted to be a generational prospect. Some even compared him to LeBron James. Okay, come on now. We're starting to get warmer and warmer. I only had to go back 25 years to show you guys how much rigor goes on in the NBA. I didn't have to go on that far, right? What do you guys think so far? Are you convinced yet that the draft is rigged or not? Let me know in the chat. I want to get you guys' opinions as I go through this research that I came up with. Let's see. Dwight Howard went to Orlando in 2004, but Orlando was god awful in 2004. They started the season 0-20. Yeah, I'm not looking at every single case. This would take forever, but I'm just looking at the most glaring cases, and I think today was the most glaring case, and I'm gonna get to that in a bit because I'm still disgusted that the NBA can't even hide the fact that they just got tired of the fire Nico chance and just gift wrapped Cooper Flag to the Mavericks. By the way, they had a 1.8% chance. We'll get into that right now. He said, Dan, I'm convinced Adam Dracula Silver rigging everything. I don't know about everything, but definitely some aspects to this to try to bring more revenue, to try to bring more. And by the way, I'm not the only one who believes this, just so y'all know. I am not the only one who believes this. Check this out. If y'all think I'm being a conspiracy theorist, I've believed this forever. Check it out. Look at LeBron James' tweet, y'all. Just laughing emojis. This after the results. Okay, even King James knows that the draft lottery is rigged. Why do they take it behind the scenes? Why do they go and do it over there? Right? It's so weird, y'all. It is beyond weird. Okay, you guys are already convinced, but I still want to give you the final exhibit, which was today's draft lottery. Was just disgusting, y'all. So obviously, one of the most controversial trades ever. The Lakers land Luka Doncic for what a lot of critics consider an underwhelming package for such a generational talent. Now the Mavericks, and by the way, let me see if I can find it here. I tweeted that if the Spurs or the Mavericks won the lottery, it was rigged. I literally, let me pull it up right here. I want to show you guys, man. Dan Stradamus struck again. I literally said this. Okay. Literally. If the Spurs and the Mavs win the lottery, this shit is rigged. Well, not only did the Mavs win the lottery, but the Spurs did too, because they get the second overall pick. They have a high chance of trying to acquire Giannis. I think now the two best landing destinations for Giannis become the Mavericks and the Spurs. They both have assets to give up now, and they're both good landing destinations. Giannis mentioned playing with another star. One in San Antonio, you got Wemby, and in Dallas, you got AD and Kyrie. So to me, both have become favorites to land Giannis all of a sudden after this draft lottery. Tell me that the draft lottery isn't rigged. By the way, they won the draft lottery with a 1.8 chance. Meanwhile, there were 3 teams that had a 14% chance. The Jazz, who fell out of the top 5. The Charlotte Hornets. And I forgot the third team. Was it Philly? Might have been. No, it was Washington. None of those guys won a top 2 pick. The 2 teams that won a top 2 pick were the teams that are in the biggest shift. Popovich stepping down as a head coach. The league wants to set them up. Already gave them Wemby 2 years ago. Now they're turning around giving them the second pick, which they can turn and use as an asset to either draft or to trade. Most likely trade. Most likely trade. So, are you not convinced that this is rigged? I've been saying it for years. Most of the time when a small market team or just a team loses a major star and the market gets impacted negatively, like the Mavericks were, they're not a small market city. NBA got tired of the fire Nico. How do they turn around? They compensate the Mavs with the first overall pick. So, does anybody here believe that the NBA draft is not rigged? And what will be your counter argument to this? By the way, the times that the Lakers had, a chance to land the first pick, we never landed it. We never got a chance at I think we could have got Cat one year. We ended up with D'Lo. We could have got Ben Simmons. Thank God we dodged the bullet there. We ended up with Brandon Ingram at number 2, which ended up being the better player. But the point is, the last time the Lakers had the first overall pick was over 30 years ago. And that was big game James Worthy. Right? And before that, it was Magic Johnson. It's been too long. Now, part of that is because the Lakers win a lot. So I understand that. But the times we have been in the lottery, no cigar. We haven't been close. We had a chance at John Morant that one year. We ended up with DeAndre Hunter, who got traded in a 3-team deal to the Pelicans and then to the Hawks. Think about that. The league is tired of us winning championships. They're trying to help these smaller market teams like the Spurs, teams like, even though they're kind of in a big market, they're still smaller than us. Teams like the Mavericks, teams like the Thunder, teams like that are going to get a lot of lottery luck over the years. Even the Jazz. Listen, the league didn't even want to favor the Jazz. The Jazz haven't been entertaining since Karl Malone and John Stockton. Matter of fact, no. I'll give Boozer and Darren Williams that nod, and Karolinko. That's how long it's been since they've been entertaining, and the league doesn't want to send a star over there because they don't know what to do with young talent. So they kind of blessed Cooper Flag. I know he wasn't happy. Apparently, on camera, he didn't look very happy, but they kind of blessed Cooper Flag by sending him there because you get to compete right away and make a name for himself. Plus, AD only has a couple years left, maybe 4 or 5 max, before he either starts to decline or he leaves for another city. This is going to be Cooper Flag's team. He's going to be able to grow alongside, young players like Derek Lively, assuming they keep that pick. If they could, listen, I think the Mavs are going to swing for the fences. They might look to trade for Giannis to pair him up with AD, right? Now you got Kyrie, you got Giannis, you got AD, and whoever else is left over from that trade package. Same thing with the Spurs. If I'm the Spurs, I'm swinging for the fences. Look for both of those destinations to be heavily involved in the attempted acquisition of a Giannis Antetokounmpo. However, the only thing that I can't guarantee a trade happens to those teams is because Giannis would have to want to go there. So it's going to be a lot of tampering and a lot of convincing. How can they rig it? Isn't it monitored? With technology, there's so many ways to rig it, and maybe they're in on it. Maybe everybody's in on it. I find it ironic that there was a camera placed where the Mavericks front office was, and they were going crazy. Why was there a camera placed there? How come we didn't see the camera from the Spurs front office? It was almost like scripted, like, just act really shocked and surprised and excited so that we can kind of throw it off. They knew, fam. If you look at the facial expression of the guy that the Mavericks sent, he didn't even seem shocked. He just seemed happy and excited. They knew. There's so many. First of all, if it was not rigged, why is the draft lottery always behind closed doors? Why? What are they hiding? Closed doors are to hide things, to keep things private. Don't even get me started on the frozen envelope. I'm going to have to go there. 1985 draft lottery, Patrick Ewing to the Knicks, all right? The inaugural NBA draft lottery saw the New York Knicks, a marquee franchise in the league's largest market, win the number 1 pick and draft Georgetown star Patrick Ewing, right? Now, again, conspiracy theorists, including myself, have always said the lottery's been manipulated, and this was the birth of that conspiracy. The creased envelope theory. Who remembers that? Video footage shows the envelope being thrown into the drum, hitting the side, and appearing creased. Okay? The NBA commissioner, David Stern at the time, God rest his soul, is seen picking up multiple envelopes, flipping them, looking through them, and selecting the creased one, which belonged to the Knicks. This has always led to that increased, speculation that the envelope was deliberate marker, right? Come on now. And again, going back to Cleveland, right? LeBron James, 2003, tied with Denver for the worst record, won the number 1 pick, draft hometown phenom LeBron James. 2012 lottery, Anthony Davis. We already talked about that. Now Cooper Flag is the latest and the conspiracy theories, y'all. It's too much going on, man. Too much going on. But one thing is for sure, guys. One thing is for sure. We are. I don't think people are sleeping to this anymore. LeBron James with the laughing face emojis tells you everything you need to know, right? Hey, looks like we got our first super chat. Let's go.
Oh my God! Wow!
Thank you so much, Richard. Appreciate you, man. Said, Dan, it's a great day. Celtics lost and these trade talks are heating up. Everyone was at the draft tonight. What's your thoughts? Thank you so much for super chat, brother. I'm extremely excited about the NBA. It is the best sport. It's year-round. My channel never goes dry because we got year-round things to talk about. Even in the offseason, Lakers are done. We're still talking. We're talking Knicks beating the Celtics, which I love. My second favorite team putting in the Lord's work. I might have to get a Jalen Brunson jersey. I told you guys if they eliminated Boston, I'm getting the Jalen Brunson jersey. I love the fact that it's going to be a very active summer, and I'm going to be here to break it down with you guys. I'm expecting some movement, and I think the Lakers will get involved. To what degree, we don't know yet. I keep an ear low to the ground. If my source tells me anything, I will inform you guys. You'll be the first to hear it. So turn on them post notification bells and hit the like button and subscribe if you already haven't. But I'm expecting some moves around the league, maybe even some tectonic plate shifting moves, fam. Extremely excited for this offseason and also excited for the Knicks, maybe even going to the finals. Who knows? I don't want to speak too soon, but I think they can beat the Pacers. Yes, Indiana has looked impressive, but I think they match up well. I told you guys before the playoffs even started, New York was my dark horse because I didn't believe we had seen the best of them yet. They're built for the playoffs. Now look, right? Let's see. Danspiration says the NBA is partially rigged. Yes. Look, it would make sense. Think about this. I don't think the NBA is rigged from a standpoint of every game and every quarter and every second is decided. No. But I do believe it's rigged from the standpoint of what moves can we make to spread the money around and make the most revenue as a collective whole. They felt that Dallas without Luka, negative ratings. Maybe their ratings dropped whenever Dallas aired. You know, they weren't going to sell tickets. A lot of people asking for their season ticket refunds. Now, all of a sudden, the buzz is back in Dallas. All of a sudden, they become one of the top teams, regardless of if they draft Cooper Flag and decide to have a nice nucleus of youth and veteran leadership, or if they decide to trade it for a superstar, which they could. Think about it, right? We're all going to be watching. Who's not going to be watching Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, potential front court pairing with Derek Lively? That's scary. Dallas went from most disappointing amongst NBA circles to most surprising and one of the more exciting teams to watch, especially when Kyrie comes back. I feel like the NBA said they went through enough suffering. They traded Luka away. AD came in injury prone. They didn't even make that run that they were promising everybody. And then to make matters worse, Kyrie gets injured at the end with the torn ACL, right? So this was their reward. And I believe they truly, Wolf Mask Jack, appreciate the super chat. He said Tatum always wanted to be Kobe. Now it's complete. Now that I won't do. I'm not going to make fun of an injury. I still think Tatum is corny, but I wish him the best in his recoveries, man. You hate to see injuries, no matter who. But yeah, man, I wish him a speedy recovery, and I don't think the Kobe topic is appropriate right now. Right now, just those non-contact injuries are the worst for sure. But I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you, bro. Richard said, Dan, all this talk about centers, we need a good wing. What options do we got? I got you guys covered. I'm gonna get more into depth with the wings, but we still need a good center. That is priority number one. As far as wings go, I think DFS definitely disappointed, right? And I don't know if he's going to opt in or opt out, but I will drop a video of the best available free agents and who we should pursue, right before free agency. Like, I'm very excited to cover that. There's a lot of names I like, but I have to look at the list. I don't have the list before me now, and I have to break it down then, Richard. But I got you, fam. I got you. TBD, to be continued on that question. I will answer later. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Just a joke, but Tatum can get to Cancun if he's injured. Yeah, injury jokes don't always hit, fam. I'll be honest. Let's see, Danspiration said NBA views, I think, went down 40% when the Lakers eliminated. So watch next year. The Lakers will get out of the first round. Just watch. I think the Lakers, if they do make the right moves, I think if the Lakers do make these right moves, they have a chance to go all the way. But that's a big if. They got to make the right moves, addressing the center, the backup center position, the wing position, maybe even a backup point guard, because I don't think Gabe Vincent is going to get it done. Matter of fact, I know he's not, because he's had 2 years. 1 year he was injured. The other year it wasn't good enough. Sorry, my apologies on the dog. Did Dallas winning the lottery save Nico's job? Absolutely. I don't think Nico, if this was rigged, I don't think Nico was ever going anywhere at all, right? So, yes, Dallas, Bruce. So, Dallas winning the lottery definitely saves Nico's job. Did y'all not see him jumping around and everything? I really think the NBA doesn't like when fans turn against the owners. Because remember, it's a collective thing. When the owners win, the players win. When the players win, the fans win. Everybody wins. The NBA is a collective thing. So I don't know if you guys noticed, we fans trash the opposite fan bases and opposite franchises. But one thing we don't ever see is front offices trashing each other. So it's almost like, it reminds me of Xbox versus PlayStation. right? Bruce, relax, buddy. Relax, Bruce. Sorry about that, guys. It reminds me of the. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Bruce, no bark. I'm doing a video. Thank you. Appreciate you. Dogs get out of control because they hear noises outside. But yeah, again, like I was saying, it's one of those things where. Come here. Go in the room so you don't bark. Come here. Bruce, come here. Bruce, come here. Come here. Man. No bark. Okay? Come here, Bruce. Come here. Come here, Bruce. He didn't want to. I'm sorry about that, guys. They hear my family outside, I think, and they want to get outside. Dan, if both available be a trade, which one do you prefer? JJ, Triple J, or Bam? Both have the most skill set. Jaren Jackson Jr. or Bam Adebayo? That is a great question. That is probably one of the best questions I have heard in a minute. You know what? I'm going to say, man, that's tough. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. might be more skilled offensively, even though he's inconsistent. I might go with Jaren Jackson Jr. But I don't know. Bam is tough too, man. Bam just does the dirty work, and he gets his points and his rebounds in an organic fashion. You don't really have to draw plays for him. But I still think Jaren Jackson might be a better floor spacer than Bam. So for those reasons, I prefer the floor spacer. But they're both great pieces, just for fit purposes, right? Even Bruce Bark saying the draft was rigged. Even he's irate, right? I want Bam more. Listen, it's not by a big margin, to be honest with y'all. It's not by a big margin, you know, if I'm honest. So, yeah, whatever the reason, whoever we get out of those two, it would be an absolute blessing. That's all I'm gonna say. But at the same time, I don't think any of those two guys are going to be on our hit list. I'm hearing Nick Claxton. I'm hearing players of that caliber, you know, maybe more attainable. I'm really hoping for Walker Kessler. Now, one of the things to be bummed out about is the Utah Jazz, okay? The Utah Jazz getting the 4th pick in the draft means that they might not go with a big man after all, because the elite big men were the top pick, right? Or wing or whatever. I would have thought maybe they still trade a Walker Kessler. Maybe they don't. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I wanted to see Walker Kessler on the trade block because I think the Lakers would have definitely benefited from that. Who do you think will win, OKC or the Nugs? I still think OKC is a better team for sure. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are a much better team. The Nuggets are winning right now. Credit to them. They've kind of surpassed a lot of my expectations for sure. I'm surprised that Russell Westbrook hasn't detonated negatively. He's had a couple of glimpses where he missed a couple layups and sequences like that, but he hasn't been too uncontrollable like in the regular season. So credit to their coach. The coach has found a way to blend him in there. Utah has the 5th. That's right. Utah has the 5th pick. But yeah, look, guys, bottom line is as far as the draft outcome and the lottery and everything goes, again, the Mavericks made off like bandits, and they were very blessed by the fact that they traded Luka, because otherwise they don't get that pick, right? So what ended up being a bad trade initially is going to end up looking like a great trade, especially if they can complete the process, right? If they can complete that process, it is going to look sensational, man. They have all the pieces now to go out and get a Giannis, or, you know, to kind of be in between as far as a rebuild and contention. They can do that now, right? The lottery odds weren't in their favor, but again, the outcome was. So the thing about Dallas is, you know, I think this is going to change the tune of the fans. This is definitely changing the tune of the fans. And then the fact that Philly got the 3rd pick and Charlotte got the 4th, I'm interested to see what happens there, right? I'm very interested to see what happens there, man, with those picks, right? This is a decent draft for sure. So let's see. Curious to see if those get traded or what. Let's see. My guy said, Dan, you know what no one is talking about? If Giannis leaves the Bucks, are having a fire sale we could get some pieces from there. Ooh, I like the fact that you brought that up. I love the fact that you brought that up, bro. What pieces would you guys like? Bobby Portis is a nice piece. Obviously, Brook Lopez is set to become a free agent again. They want to get them into free agency talk, but yeah, I mean, what pieces would you guys like from Milwaukee? Maybe a return from a guy like Kuz, who's a utility type player who's helped us to a championship before, right? We'll see. Let's see here. Damn, we only have the 55th pick. I think the Lakers traded it. Yeah, we have the 55th pick in this draft. This is a second round pick. It's around the same area we drafted Rob Bronny last year. But this year, again, the Lakers are going to be looking for prospects. I don't think they're looking for somebody who's NBA ready at the 55th pick. Then again, you always have those players that slip through and they skip workouts, and maybe the Lakers can get another steal. Austin Reeves was undrafted. Same thing for Alex Caruso, two-way G League player. So there's still possibilities, right? But yeah, that 55th pick, this is the final year where we're paying for the Anthony Davis trade. And that pick, our first round pick, which is projected to be in the 20s, in the mid to high 20s, is going to be the Atlanta Hawks pick this year. Yes, to answer your question. Absolutely. Brooks and Trent Jr., those are two good pieces for sure. Listen, Brook Lopez, older for sure. He didn't have a good first stint, but he kind of fits what the Lakers are looking for now. Veteran, floor spacer, rim protector to a certain degree. Not the same rim protector he used to be. So, let's see. Truth over Fact says, Dan, Mavs might trade pick for Giannis. They wanted Giannis or AD for Luka. They might get both. I can see that happening for sure. But again, it's all up to Giannis now. I believe he will be the ultimate deciding factor in where he goes. I believe it. And so this story will continue to unfold, and we're going to keep hearing rumors. And if we hear any Laker-related rumors, I will be live breaking those down. But especially with the ones that come from a credible source, right? I know I'm late, but AR was robbed of most improved player. Before the playoffs, I would have agreed. And I know it's a regular season award, but AR still has a lot of improvement to do. All right. Now, granted, I do believe he might have been partially injured. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I'm no doctor, but he didn't look the same in the postseason. He wasn't even attacking or breaking down the defense like he normally does. He just settled for threes, which is the mark of a player who's hurt. So the report that came out after, people thought he was making excuses, but that report didn't come from him, right? He never mentioned injury in the post press conference. So, but yeah, I mean, he was definitely one of the most improved players for sure. Dean said NBA is such a rigged league. They will do anything to keep small market teams small. Dean, are you a Wizards fan? I'm sorry if you are, man. You guys deserve better. I'm sorry if you are. But yeah, were you guys a top 3 team? You were one of the top 3 teams, right? I think you were. One of the top. Let me make sure I pull this up right here. Yeah, the draft order is set. Let's see. Yeah, the Wizards fell out of the top 5. That's crazy, fam. You guys had top odds for sure. But this is why teams shouldn't tank. Think about this, right? I feel like the NBA also sending a message to the tanking teams. Like, listen, the Mavericks also didn't have a chance. They competed for a play-in tournament spot. They almost made it to the playoffs. They won one game and then lost the second one. They had to win both to make it. I bet you their fans are happy they lost that second one now because they would have just lost in the first round. So this lets the NBA know, hey, man, you're tanking all year. You had the top odds, and look who won it. Might as well just compete and see if you get lucky. It's almost like the NBA rewarded the Mavericks for at least trying to make the playoffs, right? And also for the suffering and pain they went through with the injuries. So, Dan, would you take a flyer on Brook Lopez or too old? I'd take a flyer on him. But if you get Brook Lopez, you need a very solid, younger backup center, right? Maybe like a Daniel Gafford, just in case he goes out with injuries. He's getting old. Hey, what's up, Just B? Oh, man, bro, this video is more than 3/4 done. We basically covered a lot. You're going to want to rewind it, though, because I gave a compelling breakdown of how, this league and the lottery, especially the lottery, has always been rigged. So you're going to want to rewind it for sure. What about the first 2 games before AR was hurt? Was the excuse there? There is no excuse. AR was horrible, and I gave him a B because of that. He was going to get A- grade for what he did in the regular season, but his grade came down all the way to B, tied with Rui, because they had a reverse roles, where Rui had a decent but kind of subpar regular season with only glimpses. Austin Reeves had a consistent regular season, but then Rui had a consistent playoffs, while Austin Reeves was not good. So there is no excuse, fam. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what I know, and what you guys should know is that he potentially was injured. So I'm expecting the next time the playoffs come around, assuming he's still on the team, which is still a chance he gets traded this offseason. And I'm all for it as long as we improve and get better. But the Lakers are not just going to trade AR because he had one bad postseason run. He's had 2 good ones, right? Let's not forget he's had 2 good ones. But I get it. You know, people couldn't wait to pounce on him and say negative stuff about him. And you guys got your golden opportunity now. So this is your time to shine. All the Austin Reeves haters get to shine because, yes, he had a shitty playoffs. Congratulations. But I do believe the kid will bounce back. I do. He's only 26. And again, from what I'm hearing, I believe he was hurt. I believe it. Now, it's not an excuse to settle and jack up jump shots and play poor defense, but I'm expecting more from him next season. JJ Redick was also horrific in the postseason. I'm expecting more from him next season. Let's see. What grade did you give DFS? I missed that part, Dan. What did I give DFS? I think I gave him an average C. He was very average. You know, he was very, very average. But just to make sure, go check the video out. He was very, very average this season. He had really good spurts when he looked tremendous, and I even made an argument that he should start. And then he looked horrible at times as well. Dan, can we get Bam from Miami? Well, one thing about Pat Riley is he's very stubborn. So he's not just going to give up Bam to give up Bam. You have to have a compelling package, or Bam has to force his way out the way Jimmy Butler did. But it definitely raised some eyebrows, those post-season comments at the podium he had after their season was done. I would love Bam. I would love Bam. I would love Walker Kessler. Anybody that fits that type of mold, I would love. But it's not guaranteed the Lakers get him. A lot of teams have more assets than us. That's number one. For us to get even in the sweepstakes for a player like Giannis or Bam, those players will specifically have to request coming here. There's a lot of power in the player. The players run the league, basically, because nobody wants to trade all their assets and deplete their roster for a disgruntled star that won't want to sign an extension with them, right? That is counterproductive. So then again, I'm going to keep my ear low to the ground. I'm going to give you guys all the latest rumors and news to the minute, to the hour, to the second, as soon as it happens. If we hear anything else on Giannis or Bam or anything that links them to the Lakers that's coming from a legitimate source, you know where to find me, guys. Their chemistry will grow with more time. Oh, absolutely. But not everybody deserves to come back. We talked about that the last video during the grade season. Not every player deserves to come back at all, right? Not every player. Starting with Gabe Vincent, I don't think he deserves to come back. He was very underwhelming, especially in the postseason. I'll pass on Gabe Vincent. There's a lot of dead weight pieces on this roster that I don't think should come back either. You know, if you were dead weight and you were on this roster, deuces. Dude, if you showed no growth, even the 2A G League players, if you showed no growth, deuces, right? There has to be growth and development and continuance of improvement, right? He said, Just be said, I think if anything, AR deserves to have an off season and full season alongside Luka before they attempt to trade him. We got a small sample size. I agree, man. Again, it took me some time to think things through. I was very frustrated with AR when it happened, but he did have an overall good season. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on the injury this time. Next time, there won't be no excuses. Dan, should we move on from Vando? If coach doesn't plan on using him, yes. Move on from Vando. But that's a big if. I love Vando. I think he's a key, integral part of a championship team. But the roster and the coach needs to learn how to use him for sure, right? Great question. Again, we're going to break down so much more, guys, on this team moving forward, so keep it locked right here. If you were the GM, who will you trade? Gabe Vincent has to be included in the package. I really would trade anybody outside of Luka and LeBron if the package is right. For example, if Giannis becomes available, Rui, Austin, we talked about a trade package earlier today that I will put together. I'm doing it. It really depends for who, right? So again, we're going to get more in depth into these questions in the up and coming video. So keep it locked right here, guys. That is going to wrap it up for me. This video was brought to you guys by Underdogs. And what a perfect sponsorship. Underdog. My dog was barking earlier, so I do apologize for that. But you know, he means well. You know, he's protecting the home. Yeah, this video is sponsored and brought to you by Underdog and also Prize Picks. All right, promo code DTLF for both. So tap in. Tons of promotions, tons of giveaways, tons of deposit matches and stuff like that. Much love, guys. Appreciate you guys tonight for tapping in. I know it's late, so we can keep it short and sweet. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great night, Laker family and NBA world. See you on the next one.